Welcome. I'm Christine Clardy, here for Sun and Moon Yoga Studio, subbing for Annie this evening. I'm taking a clearing breath. So nice to be here. Greetings to each of you, whether you are here in real time or you are here in another time. We are all here together, and I'm thankful for that. This is part 2 of a little two-parter that I have been sharing with the Sangha called Reclaiming Attention. It's something that is a really common topic in yoga circles, meditation circles, coaching circles, educational circles. Our attention is so essential to who we are and what we can get done that there are many, many different ways to approach the topic. So there's no need to watch part 1 in order to watch this part in case you are concerned about that. Everything really flows together in so many ways. And I just called last week part 1 of 2 because I knew that it was a big topic and I would probably be wanting to pick up where we left off. So with that in mind, I wanted to let you know that we will be jumping right into a full 15-minute seated meditation or reclined, if that's how you prefer it. We will be starting with settling, and then we'll be moving into single-pointed focus. So I thought you might want an extra moment to prepare for that longer time and also prepare for a little bit more silence from me. I feel like I talked a lot last time. The only Dharma that I really feel called to share with you tonight, really 2 things. One, you cannot fail at meditation. You cannot do it wrong. The doing is the meditation. That is the meditation, regardless of what happens next. Also, you got to go there to know there. That's the wisdom I have for this evening. I didn't create that phrase. It's from Zora Neale Hurston, an American author who wrote a book called Their Eyes Were Watching God. And one of her characters discovers you got to go there to know there. So let's take that principle, actually both of them, the idea that we cannot fail and the idea that you have to go there to know there, and apply those things to our meditation this evening. First, clear the breath again or for the first time and find comfort. Find comfort in the seat or in your reclined position. Coming to the meditation seat includes removing obstacles to our attention. So if there's something right off the bat that is extremely invasive and within your control, I suggest you address it in these first few moments. A blanket, a pillow, closing or opening a door or a window. Addressing any extreme ache or pain. Pain should not be a distraction. And yet we are willing to stay and commit to the seat or to the reclined position. So even if there is sensation, look towards softening in the lower body. feeling rooted and supported. And look toward lifting in the upper body. Relax the shoulders, the jaw, corners of the eyes. And we'll begin with 15 minutes here. Having settled and situated ourselves. Finding some middle way, one of the many middle ways perhaps that the Buddha referred to, between ease and some effort. As we move toward the bodily sensations, the ones that feel comfortable and inviting, and the ones that feel less comfortable. There is a natural process of turning away from other sensations. This is pratyahara. Let your awareness reside with something simple, anchors, like the hands, feet, the seat. Let the external stimuli become secondary. And let your priority be what's right here, right now. The hands, feet, seat. And the breath. Each meditation we do is unique, and perhaps pratyahara, or withdrawing the senses from external stimuli, is where this meditation resides primarily for you this evening, particularly if you are in a busy place with lots of sounds and sights, activity. Continue to keep it simple. This does not need to be a spiritual thing. Keep it practical. Come back to something physical. Hands, feet, seat, other anchors, such as the ground, the sound of my voice, or the sensation of your breath. As we withdraw the senses from the external world and bring them close and close and close, we move toward what Patanjali called dharana, single-pointed focus. Because even when we focus closely, there is so much happening in the mind, especially. So continue to assert your attention on a single point. Perhaps it's the breath. And as the thoughts come and go, they are like cars leaving a garage. You can watch them exit, but you don't need to enter and ride with them. Let them go. Some thoughts are magnetic or sticky, and we find we've become lost in them. That's the moment of reclaiming attention. That's the breadcrumb that leads you back to single point. Let the car leave the garage. We have 5 more minutes of this practice. Recognize the feeling that comes with the sit in the physical body. Recognize the feelings that come perhaps emotionally with evaluating the kind or the quality or the goodness of this meditation. Come right back to the single point, the anchor. The breath. See if you can notice the difference between what it's like to be lost in a thought and what it's like to come home to awareness. Is the felt sense of those two states different somehow? A river cannot hold all the water that runs through it. Let the thoughts travel and flow. Let the water run through. Run through your awareness as if you were the shores. Watching the river pass. As if you were at the carnival watching the rides, not riding them. And we have 2 more minutes. Traverse the path back home to awareness again and again. Claiming and reclaiming. Directing and redirecting your focus. this point if you'd like to shift or move or stretch. Notice if the breath became different for you. Notice if you were holding the breath. You might take this as a break. Or you might choose to go even deeper into the stillness of the body. So last week I mentioned the fact that, speaking for myself, my ability to pay attention, I've discovered, is really a function of my ability to not pay attention. The more things that I am able to let go of, last week it was the purple couch, the more space I create. And as I create that space, I create choice. I create the ability to claim that attention and decide where I would like for it to go. Attention allows us to tune out information, sensations, and even perceptions that are often based on our past experience, that are not necessarily relevant at the moment. And attention allows us instead to focus on the information that is important. And this is to the exclusion of other stimuli. So we have to ask, what is the important thing that we would like to use our practice for? In the initial practice that we just did, a very typical process of withdrawing the senses and finding a single point and then remaining with that single point hones that ability to notice what attention is doing. And that in itself is an incredibly powerful exercise. Last week, I trailed off with the question, well, what do we use that for? If we are spending a lot of time with single-pointed focus and we find that we are able to maintain connection to a certain point. I was using breath this evening. For some people, it's a mantra or a candle or an icon, many, many different single points. But if you find that that is becoming accessible for you on certain sits, knowing that every sit is a little bit different, and even noticing that the sit is different is definitely noticing. So it's all good. You cannot fail. What do you do with that? There's talk about using these things to be skillful, to create balance in your life, to become enlightened, those kinds of things. I'm a big fan of keeping things simple and keeping things practical. So, yes, whatever you decide to use your meditation for, I wish you well. And I sincerely appreciate that you would be practicing here now with this video or with any other means that makes sense to you. But I thought tonight we would actually focus on something and practice it right here and now. So like a little life practice right here and right now. We have many things in life that we could choose from. We'll be taking the next 20 minutes and trying to use that honed skill of focused attention to work through a particular issue or a situation that's particular to your current life. So we'll go through the same process briefly of establishing the seat, finding anchors, and we'll add a few other tidbits, staying particularly grounded and particularly anchored as we call to mind a situation. And before we even start to contemplate what that might be, let's make ourselves comfortable. Let's see what it's like. What would it be like to use our attention, to use our volitional attention to use choice? Relax the shoulders. Feel the jaw soften. Find an anchor. Hands, feet, seat. A repeated word or mantra. Or the breath. Perhaps specifically feeling the breath at the tip of the nose, or in the center of the belly, underneath the center of the rib cage. Along with that anchor, call upon your wise heart. You might place a hand over the heart, sometimes known as your higher self or your best self. If you feel like that's not available in this moment, you could invoke the wise heart of another, someone in your life, human or not human, who has expressed tenderness and support for you. This entity could be living or dead. Those things are irrelevant as you invoke the love and tenderness, the eyes of love and the hands of support. Now call to mind an ongoing difficulty or a situation for you that typically brings up reactivity. Something where you would like to find more balance or skill or patience. We won't deal with a severe or unresolved past trauma, but something current, something you feel ready to address. A habit, a work situation, something related to illness or health, maybe something in the news. Something that you know tends to have a strong evocative impact on you. If nothing comes to mind, or if you don't feel like you would like to address something in that category, you might simply take this exercise to use your breakfast. What did you have for breakfast? Let breakfast be the topic. And as you think of that situation or issue or relationship, or as you think of what you had for breakfast, ask some Open questions. Inquire, what do I believe is happening here? What can I see in this little reel, this little movie, short film? And what is the most prevalent feeling? Well, stay here with this questioning. What is here? What am I believing about this event? Note what comes up and keep it physical, keep it in the body. Keep it simple. It could be that your body begins to reenact tension. If you are thinking of a moment in a relationship that is difficult, perhaps there's clenching. Notice what your hands are doing. Stay with those sensations. What is the most prevalent feeling here? There could be pressure around the eyes or the neck or the jaw. Look for sensations around the area of the chest. Begin to notice what other thoughts or images emerge and how are they related to this issue at hand. If you're thinking of something simple like breakfast, you may have spent some time remembering what you ate, how it tasted, sensations in the body, smells, feeling a fullness in the belly. You may have recalled beliefs about what you should be eating for breakfast and what you chose, contradictions or discrepancies between those two things. And then notice the other thoughts or images that emerge, other breakfasts, people who taught you about eating, or taught you about habits? How are they related to the initial issue at hand? Is there a pattern? Did that diversion, did that side thought actually have purpose? Is there a relationship there? Swami Vivekananda believed his one little body was enough to take care of in this life. And he shared that with us in her blog. This one little body that we have, this one little experience, can teach us so much. So stay with it. Watch the way it grows and morphs. Trace the thoughts. And always stay anchored in the body. Hands, feet, seat. In terms of the topic that you've chosen tonight, you could also begin to ask, what would it be like to experience this situation? Reading the news, encountering the person at work, dealing with traffic. What would it be like to have a different response? Is there something there you could let go of? What are you willing to let go of in that moment? Worry? Blame? Imagine what it would be like. Imagine letting the hands soften instead of clenching, or having a knot in the belly unwind. Just imagine that. This one little body is enough. Inquire, what do you need most at that time? Is there a part of you where this topic resides or is lodged? And what does that anger or blame or shame or worry want to hear? What does it need? Perhaps it's something as simple as, I see you, I hear you. I know you are worried. I understand your shame. Perhaps there's information that part of you would find useful. As you cultivate attention and reclaim attention and stay with this movie, this tale, you allow yourself the opportunity to cultivate the compassion and the wisdom, the wise presence that can be there also. Keep going. Stay present. Return. Reclaim. We have 5 more minutes. Watch the pattern of thinking. Let it flow without being in it. And as you watch it, it could lead to a new way of looking at this situation. Let's take this time at the end to be both the holder and the held. You can be the person experiencing the situation, anything from your typical reading of the newspaper that rattles you to that neighbor who always, quote unquote, does something. You can experience those disappointments, annoyances, difficulties, and you can also be the person who holds the key, who offers the steady, tender, supportive hand, who sees and understands. You might imagine a child at the edge of a pool learning to jump into the water. And the older, wiser person in the pool, arms out. Child jumps. The holder catches the held, and they come together. That's you. And let there be an absence of longing, an absence of needing things to be different. Take rest. Take rest. As we come to the end of our second half of the meditation and the second half of discussion of reclaiming attention, I want to express my gratitude for you, for your presence, for the many teachers who have informed my thinking on attention. Everything from the American Psychological Association, which defines attention, to the many people that I have sat with, the many teachers that I have, including teachers here from Sun and Moon. Thank you. May you be well. May you be happy and healthy. May you know peace. And may all beings know peace.